What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sully Show. Today we have another great whiskey review for y'all coming at you on some Bulleit bourbon. Alright, this was one of the first bourbons I tried whenever I turned 21. One of the first bourbons I bought myself. And I wasn't a big fan of it. I remember I think I drank a little bit of it and some Coke. And then I ended up dumping the rest out. Not dumping it out, but dumping it into a bag to marinate some beef jerky in. And I made some beef jerky with it. Beef jerky came out okay. But I wasn't a big fan of the Bulleit bourbon. But since I've, aged a little bit, matured a little bit, and I've been on my newfound bourbon journey, we're going to try it again and see if I like it any better or if it's the same as I remembered. But we're going to structure this video a little differently than we have in the past. For the start of it, before we even try the whiskey here, we're going to jump into the details of it and then see, based off of that, does it live up to the expectations off the rip, and does it get better as we put ice in it. So we're still going to do the details about it, trying it neat and trying it on ice. We're just going to mix up the order of how all this works a little bit. So let's jump into the details of the Bulleit bourbon. Alright, so it's roughly $35 for a 750. I got this neat little kit, again one of those great Christmas kits. I got it for $33, so it's roughly that $35 price range. So $30 to $35 is kind of typically where you're going to see this product at, most likely. Now it is 45% alcohol or 90 proof, so it's a fairly high percentage compared to a lot of the other things we've tried. I feel like most whiskeys even are between 30 and 40%, kind of, 30 on the low side, 40 on the higher. So this is above average for a lot of whiskeys that I know of personally. Now, the design of this whiskey, the experience that it is made to give to you, we're going to start with the smell on that, alright? So it's supposed to smell kind of spicy with a little bit of sweet oak. Now, you'll notice spiciness is a trend throughout this bourbon. And while it's not a rye, it does have a very high percentage of rye in the mash. There's 28% rye in this mash, which is a lot higher than your typical bourbons. The typical non-rye bourbons, I guess I'll specify there. So it will be a little bit spicier most likely. Now, the actual palate of this bourbon, or the flavors that you will taste while drinking: some maple, some oak, and some nutmeg. So y'all know I love oaky. I'm sure maple's just as good. Again, still don't really know what nutmeg tastes like. So maybe we'll check it up, but I'm guessing we probably won't. And last but not least, the finish on this bourbon is supposed to be a little bit dry. It's supposed to be satiny, according to the Bulleit Bourbon website. And it should be a little bit toffee. Just a light note of toffee at the end of... Just a light note of toffee at the end of the sip there, as it's kind of running down, that aftertaste is what that finishes. That finishes the aftertaste, essentially. So let's go ahead and bust this box open and just get into the actual drinking part, which is obviously the best part of these videos. Alright, we have our bourbon out of the box. First thing to note, I absolutely love these Bulleit bourbon bottles. I still have the last one I tried. I use it to hold my cooking oil in now. Pretty neat. I put a like one of those alcohol pours in there so I can just my cooking oil. Super cool. But I absolutely love these bottles. It says Bulleit Bourbon Frontier Whiskey, like raised into the bottle. The labels are pretty neat, and this one has a cork. So, I mean, automatically you gotta love it right there, right? Let's pop her open, give her a shot. So satisfying. And we are just going to go ahead and use our cool ceramic mugs that came with this, because figure why not, you know, might as well test them both out. Put a little bourbon in there. Just a splash. Smell it first. I would actually kind of say I do smell spiciness and oak in there. I would say I definitely can smell both of those fairly well. They're fairly strong smells of both of them. Let's taste it. Whew. It's definitely got some spice. The bite is strong off the rip. It hit the front of my mouth pretty hard, but as I swallowed the fluid, as I swallowed the bourbon here, it kind of went away. Didn't really notice it after that. So it's an interesting bite, but it's a pretty good bite. Not too weak, not too strong. It's pretty good, average. Lets you know it's there, but not overpowering. But you can definitely taste that spiciness, and you can feel that spiciness in there. It's a very powerful experience with this bourbon. The spiciness kind of overpowers a lot of the drink. I'm hoping we can put it on ice. It'll kind of mellow that out enough for other flavors to come through, because I'm not really getting a whole lot of maple and oak right now. I can tell there's more flavors than spice. Like, I can tell there's something else to it, but you can't really taste distinctly what that exactly is. So hopefully put it on ice, it'll dial that spice down enough to let us know what else is in this whiskey. Let's try one more sip and then we'll throw the ice in there. Again, very powerful on that spice. However, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't want to come off as saying this is a negative thing. It is a very good whiskey. I mean, definitely something you could drink straight. I mean, you can drink it neat very easily. I don't drink many of my whiskeys neat. I normally do put some ice in there. However, this is one that I really wouldn't mind drinking neat, along with that Elijah Craig small batch. Another one that is very good quality, just nice and neat. So let's go ahead and get some ice in here, see if anything changes, and continue with the review. We'll be right back. Okay, while we have this sitting on ice for just a minute, I want to let y'all know that I have a Instagram page now y'all can go follow. It's at The Sully Show. I'll put a link down in the comments as well. Y'all can follow that for just like quicker reviews, you know, if I'm like at a restaurant, got a beer I like, I'll probably throw a review up on that and just post random different things about, you know, whatever I feel like on there. So y'all should go follow that because it should be pretty neat. And we're back with our ice portion of our Bulleit bourbon review. Now, smelling it, I smelled it, you know, as I was walking back in. Smelling it again, it smells a lot sweeter already. It smells like that ice already cut down on a lot of that spiciness. So I'm kind of excited to try it because I feel like it's going to be a whole new whiskey, and a whole new bourbon we have here. So let's give it a shot. And I was like 25% right. It does taste a decent bit different, but not that much. And honestly, I think I kind of like this more neat. It's the bite is almost completely gone. So now it's just a lot of spice with nothing to back it up. I feel like the bite from the alcohol and the spice complement each other very well. Where now it kind of just tastes like spice, but doesn't get to feel like spice and have that extra little oomph in there to make that bourbon really understandably spicy. With the other flavors, I feel like there's probably a bit of extra oak coming through. Maybe a bit of maple in there, but it's still mainly overpowered by that spice itself. So overall, it is a spicy whiskey. But, I mean, on the website, they tell you it's going to be spicy, oak, and maple. They're not trying to give you a whole lot of different flavors. They're trying to build a simple, enjoyable whiskey. And I honestly will say they have done a great job with that. Overall, would definitely recommend some Bulleit bourbon. It'll go on the recommend list whenever we, finish all that up and get that going and everything. Overall point system, 4.5 neat, 4 on ice probably. I think it's going to be a little bit worse on ice than it will be neat. Overall of 8.5 total. Delicious, delicious bourbon for sure though. Cannot go wrong with it. But again, it is a $30 bottle, which is typically more than I like to spend. However, it is great. It really is a great bourbon. And it's a very cool bottle. It's a bottle that I definitely won't throw away and I'll do something with later on down the road. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Sully Show. I hope you found it not only fun, but also informative. And maybe you go pick yourself up some Bulleit bourbon and give it a shot for yourself. But until next time, like this video, comment on it, subscribe, go watch my other ones. Stay tuned for the next one, and keep drinking. Cheers.